Good day, Houston Rockets fans. Absolutely good day, man. Absolutely good day. If you're a Houstonian right now, you 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 riding high right now, man. We riding high right now because the city is shining real bright, man. We got young athletes that is coming into their own. The Texans got CJ Stroud is being talked about as an MVP candidate right now. The Rockets got Alperen Şengün, who at some point, if the Rockets keep this up, Alperen Şengün may end up being an MVP candidate. I ain't saying they're gonna win it, cause somebody named Jokic is still alive. But how y'all doing today, fans? Rockets fans, this your boy AK Infinity. Follow me on Twitter at AK Infinity underscore VVS. This is the Rockets Propaganda Channel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the game against the Nuggets. We eked out a close one, but I'm also going to go into a little bit of I don't know if it's going to be a rant. I don't know. This is off the cuff. But there's something I kind of want to point out about every single game that we've played this season. We played 9 games. We played the 10th one on Friday against the Clippers. So, to the game. Yeah, man. At first, first quarter, it was kind of nip and tuck tight until the end. Um, Second quarter, Rockets actually eked out the second quarter about 3. Um, I had said before the game that this was probably going to be a close game, but at the end, the Denver Nuggets probably going to put their championship touches on it and pull it out in the end. It ended up being the Rockets doing what I thought the Nuggets was going to do, which is a very welcome development. The Rockets seem like they're knowing how to play down the stretch defensively first, and then offensively just playing smart. Um, One of the points of this game that I think we won at was the bench minutes, most notably when Jokic was not on the floor. I thought that, and even in the group chat that I'm in, we were saying the Rockets have to absolutely dominate the minutes where Jokic is not on the floor, because when he's on the floor, man, the Nuggets just look impossible to deal with. They're impossible to deal with when Jokic is on the floor, because the man doesn't make mistakes, and you can't make him make a mistake. You can only hope that someone else around him makes a mistake, because the dude can shoot, he can post, he's big. Pause. He had 21 rebounds, man. The man had 11 assists, 21 rebounds. That alone, we're not even going to talk about the 36 points. But the 21 rebounds and 11 assists. God, dog. The man just doesn't make mistakes like that. Sure, he had 3 turnovers, but man, them weren't his turnovers. It was somebody else. It's kind of like when a quarterback throws an interception because the receiver ran the wrong route. That's what a Jokic turnover is. The dude is just flawless. And then on the other end, when you try to attack him defensively, Mike Malone got these guys. He's really using Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon to really flank uh, Jokic when people try to target Jokic and go at him on the pick and roll. There's always some big person sitting right there ready to help. And then you got KCP doing this thing too on the perimeter. And KCP is a hell of a defensive player, man. He's like their Dylan Brooks. He's a hell of a defensive player. Hell of a defensive player. He don't get his props like I think he should, but he as far as perimeter defenders go, he might be top 5. I don't even think that's a hot take. And then Aaron Gordon and Aaron Gordon's a good defender. Michael Porter Jr. hasn't been known as being a good defender, but he's stepped his game up this season. I mean, after all, bro, you 6'10", you athletic, you know, good wingspan. Use that to your advantage. Just try. If he just tries, he's gonna be at least solid on defense. And I'm gonna say this too: the way he plays, sort of on offense, the way he plays a little bit, I kind of want Jabari to look at that and let that be something that he can model his game after a little bit, as far as when and where he gets the shots and moving off the ball and whatnot. That's something that Jabari can do. Speaking of Jabari, he only played 20 minutes this game. He didn't have, you know, offensive outbursts. Didn't really shoot the ball from three well. He was 0 for 2 from three, 4 for 7 overall. Um, they kind of picked on him a little bit on defense. They kind of, and what I've noticed and a lot of teams are doing is they're picking on his help defense, not really his one-on-one man-to-man defense. Sometimes they will, like Aaron Gordon can just body him. But a lot of times I noticed they try to get the Rockets in a scramble situation to where Jabari has to help, because I've noticed that his help defense, he's a half step slow because he's a little bit indecisive. I know the coaching staff is working with him on that. He'll be better, but this is why Jeff Green actually closed this game. Jeff Green closed the game because of the defensive end. Let's not even talk about the offense, because on offense he was solid, but they really closed the game out defensively because of him. Well, with him because of his defense. He was 5 for 7 overall. He scored 15 points. Jeff Green, he still got a lot left in the tank, man. I know this was a guy who we thought was just only gonna get like spot minutes and whatnot, but he's getting key playing time, because Lord knows Jock Landale is not up to par quite yet. He might never be this season, and that might be fine. Might have to. Well, I don't want to talk about trades and nothing yet. Kind of keep that for closer to the trade deadline. But yeah, this was a game where Alperen Sengun played very good defense on Jokic as best as he could. Just didn't matter, man. Like, and doubling Jokic is just a bad idea, because then everybody else start getting off, and you can't have all these role players getting off with the Nuggets, man. You just can't, because that's where you're gonna lose. Where you can beat them is let Jokic get these gaudy numbers and just don't let nobody else come with him. Because if you get the rest of the team coming with him, that's where you lose, man. That's where you lose. You can even remember in the playoffs when I think this was in the finals when they played the Heat. Yeah, when they played the Heat, there was a game where Jokic just went stupid. The rest of the team didn't, and they lost. That might have to be the formula, man, when you play the Nuggets, man. But yeah, another point I want to kind of touch on too with the Rockets is, you kind of want to touch on Alperen Sengun, man. Hey, pause. You kind of want to talk about Alperen Sengun, but at this point, he's guaranteed to be, you know, one of the most effective players, if not the most effective player every game. But I want to talk about the backcourt, Jalen Green and Fred VanVleet. Jalen Green, he had an off shooting game, but he had a good overall game. Why? Because just because he wasn't scoring, that doesn't mean he wasn't being aggressive. He was still going downhill. He was still finding an open man when he went downhill. He was rebounding. He was playing defense. He was really playing hella defense, if we're being honest. Now I know Jamal Murray wasn't playing, but you still got to do what you got to do, on defense and guard whoever's in front of you. He was a +10, which was the highest on the starters. The next closest starter was Fred VanVleet, who was a -4. But again, when you look at Fred VanVleet, it's not really, when you look at this team in general, it's not really just numbers, man. It's how they're playing, how they're communicating on the court. You can see it. These guys are talking to each other, talking through scenarios and issues and what to do, how to adjust on the fly. That is a big adjustment that we didn't see a lot of last season. Ime Udoka is really setting these guys up to succeed. I had a tweet last night on my Twitter, and if y'all not following my Twitter, you really tripping, because I'm low key a hot Twitter follow, because I be spitting some facts, I be spitting some heat. You might want to go give me a follow at AK Infinity VVS. Now, I had a tweet. Let me see if I can find it. I should have had it pulled up, but let me see if I can find it. All right, it don't look like I can find it, but I think I can freestyle off the top of my head. Oh, here you go. So the Rockets, well, as of my tweet last night, the Rockets were second in opponents' 3-point percentage, third in turnovers per game, as in the third fewest turnovers per game, and they're fifth in defensive rating. Fellas, let me tell you something. That's laying the foundation for a championship team. The Rockets are being injected with championship DNA with Fred VanVleet, with Coach Ime Udoka, with guys like Jeff Green. These are the guys who are changing the culture for our team, along with Dylan Brooks too. Dylan Brooks ain't got a ring yet, but him getting one is not wouldn't be a surprise to nobody. And I would like for him to get it with the Rockets. But let me not get too ahead of myself here. Rockets they're developing championship habits, man. You can see it in these past two fourth quarters. Fourth quarter against the Pelicans, you know, they won that fourth quarter. They had to come back and rally in the last couple of minutes and do what they had to do. But it started on the defensive end. Same thing again with this game. They won the fourth quarter, 33-28. Started on the defensive end, and then the offense caught up with it later. This is where we're gonna have to lay our hat, man. This is where we are building our identity, man. It's gonna be on that defensive end. The offense is the offense is still developing. Even though the offense actually looks pretty good, the offense is actually still developing because these guys are still trying to get familiar with each other and understand their spots on offense. But the defensive part right now, even on defense, they're communicating, but they still gonna get better at communicating with each other. Even on defense, they're still trying to learn where each other likes each other's spots and where to help, how to help, personnel, and the like. And Coach Ime still learning everybody too, because these guys are not playing a scheme of defense that they're actually like really used to like that. So just give it a season. Maybe that's being a little generous, but give it a season. We look good now on defense, but what can it look like later on? Another year with Dylan and Fred, Jay Sean coming off the bench, Tari Eason going into his third season next year, Jabari taking another step on that end, Jalen and Shingun taking another step on that end because they've been really good defensively this season. I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like in a year's time, and I'm thinking down the road because right now, man, I don't even know what to. I can't. I really. It's hard to say what I'm seeing right now. Well, it's not hard to say what I'm seeing. It's hard to kind of project for the rest of the season, even though a lot of the things that we're doing are repeatable. Obviously, you can see them. They're repeatable because we're repeating it over and over and winning the same ways, defensively first. And if we're hitting our threes, it's a blowout. If we're not, it's a close game. I don't know where we're gonna end up this season, how we're gonna finish it. But I'm gonna say one thing though. If we make the playoffs, I don't think anybody is gonna be looking forward to playing the Rockets in the playoffs. I don't think we're gonna be in the play-in. I think it's gonna be playoffs. Because the way we're playing defense, this is playoff defense. It's not play-in defense. Damn sure ain't lottery defense, I'll tell you that. Um, Last point I want to touch on about the team in general and the narrative going into the season about this team. I want y'all to pay very close attention with me. Pay very close attention. Before the season started, ESPN dropped their top 100 players list. They do this every year before the season starts. I think before the preseason even starts. They dropped 100 players who they think are the top 100 in the league. Every game we played this season, the Rockets did not have a player that was considered to be the best player on the floor, according to that list. First game of the season, we played the Magic. The Rockets did not have. We were not the best player. We didn't have the best player in that game, according to ESPN. Next game against the Spurs, the best player on that floor according. Well, I don't remember who the best player was on the floor according to the list, but the best player on the floor wasn't the Rockets. Wasn't any Rocket. Third game, I don't need to say nothing against the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, we didn't have the best player on the floor. Against the Hornets, we didn't have the best player on the floor. Against the Kings, we didn't have the best player on the floor. Against the Pelicans, we didn't have the best player on the floor. Against the Nuggets, we didn't have the best player on the floor. But we're 6-3. We 6-3 without playing a single game where we had the best player on the floor. At least considering that list, at least when you consider that list. According to that list that ESPN dropped, we have not had the best player on the floor in any game this season. I got another good stat for you. We're 6-3, and not a single player on the Rockets has had a 30-point game yet. Not one. Nobody's had a game where they just drop stupid numbers. And I mean like video game numbers. Like we haven't had nobody have to tap into a dimension inside of their inner soul and go nuclear for us to win a game. Or just even any game at all. Like win, lose, or draw. We haven't had anybody just go off yet. They're still learning each other. They're still learning the offense. This is coming. It's a little bit of a slow process, but I like it because I like what I'm seeing. I'm liking the progress being made game by game, even though we're winning. You can see Coach Ime Udoka is addressing small little details. And it's starting to get to a point where they're addressing those details amongst themselves on the floor, on the fly, and not having to wait for Coach Ime to call a timeout. You can tell. What I'm noticing really, that's what they're doing really well, probably best in the league right now, is their scram switching. If they see one player has a hell of a mismatch, if they see Şengün on the island with a guard, they scram switching. Hey, Fred, come here. Let's switch and get off this guy. Alperen, go back to Jokic. And vice versa. Hey, Fred is on Aaron Gordon. Hey, Dylan Brooks. Let's swap this action before they get the ball, before they can, exploit the mismatch. They doing a good job of this, man. It's really good. It's really fun to watch. And we haven't even had like a bunch of highlight plays. It's just putting their hard hats on, going to work, and coming home to their families, man. I'm loving this, bro. I'm loving this. We play the Clippers on Friday. First game against James Harden this season. Clippers are struggling. I don't care. I expect to win that game. Every game, I expect to win. There's not a game that we play that I do not expect to win. Even if it might be a close game. We going into every game now, we at a point where we should expect to win. I'm not saying we finna go, the rest of the damn season undefeated, but we're going to have a chance to win every game. The schedule's about to toughen up here in a little bit. We're going to have a road trip here. I don't care. Every game, I'm expecting to win. Drop your comments below. What are your thoughts on this video? If you're still with me, give me a like. If you're liking the content, subscribe to the channel. This is Rockets Propaganda. This is what we do. I'm gonna be getting into some other, non-Rockets topics, just NBA topics, and just kind of talk about how, it relates to the Rockets or compare them to the Rockets. But I'm gonna be getting into some more of that in a little bit. But like I said, man, like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Follow me on Twitter at AKinfinity_VVS. Rockets Propaganda, and we out.